Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to talk about the immigrations of Venezuelans to Colombia. This is a major issue that we're encountering in the nowadays society. Venezuelans are facing one of the worst periods of time in their history. The nowadays president, Nicolás Maduro, whose 2018 re-election was tainted by accusations of irregularities and voter intimidation. Also, he decided to break the constitutional order by making an imposition of the National Assembly whose legislative powers were taken away by him. If he'd taken better decisions, Venezuela would prosper. The arrival of Venezuelans is affecting tons of aspects in Colombia. The most affected one is the socioeconomic. First is creating a situation of humanitarian emergency because these people are not being attended correctly by the majority of Cali, for the reasons that they don't want to generate much help to avoid them to stay. So a consequence of this action is that many of the Venezuelans have health, alimentation, and economic issues. The lack of help for them is generating robbery, handout, delinquency, sexual abuse. Already Colombian citizens will have got sicknesses that they thought they were overtake because the Venezuelans carry with them. In the economic, Colombians have been disturbed in a giant way due to the fact that some enterprises or informal business had decided to hire Venezuelans to pay them less. Also, is born the labor exploitation and the sexual exploitation for them. This caused unemployment for us and confrontation in some places of this country because the civilians don't want the Venezuelans working illegally. And the municipal government isn't doing their job of protection for the ones who live and work here illegally, and neither is helping them.
The migration of Venezuelan people to Colombia is a variable that has affected social aspects, such as work, additional demand for public services in education, health, transport, etc. Colombian government gave certain Venezuelans nationality in order for them to be able to participate in Colombian matters. However, it's a threat the number of Venezuelans in Colombia due to the quantity of resources occupied and used by them. According to statistics, there are about 40,000 Venezuelans living legally in Colombia, but there are actually 60,000 living irregularly. This information was provided by the sociologist and expert in immigration Iván de la Vega, professor at the University Simón Bolívar, conducted with colleagues and students of the Laboratory International Immigration, LIM, reveals that there are actually 900,000 Venezuelans, including those with dual nationality. That means that they have the Colombian nationality and the Venezuelan nationality. And they made up about 1.8% of our population. Those who have arrived to the country in the last 20 years due to the effect called Bolivarian Revolution and the social crisis in Venezuela, which generated disadvantages in economic branches, forcing a lot of people to emigrate from their homes to neighbor countries in order to find sustainability, leaving their families or without them. This ended in municipal government taking action or being forced to, as an example of the government of Cali. Thus, the 600 of Venezuelans without documents that are not presented any benefit to their city, due to the lack of work visa in this city, or the situation in the Ecuador frontier closing up and forcing Venezuelans to stay in Colombia.
The Chancellery of the Republic and the Ministry of Foreign Relations of Colombia has made agreements with humanitarian entities and the Red Cross as to obtain the hostels in the border cities as in Cúcuta and Ipiales, where Venezuelans can receive humanitarian aid, food, and services help. However, this does not resolve the situation in the background and does not receive support of the municipalities and the government. In conclusion, we can say that this problem about the migration of Venezuelans to Colombia and to other neighbor countries in Latin America is ending up with resources and possibilities for development in branches such as economics, social, cultural, and political aspects. As Sarah said before, it is a situation that is affecting health due to the incapacity of the system to supply the amount of citizens that are increasing each time more and are unable to work, receive protection from the state, and are undocumented. In the other hand, there is an ethical responsibility with the families that are escaping from a regime that started many years ago in Venezuela and that has evolved into a crisis, including huge debts and exponential growth over economic inflation. Even though it has the largest crude oil reserve in the world, but the bad administration of the country has created that there is not enough capital to provide food or resources like medicines or antibiotics. It is a must to help the people that are looking for security and sustainability, taking into account that there should be a balance between the humanitarian solutions for Venezuela and also for Colombia. Venezuelans are having help provided by the Colombian government. Regardless, a change is necessary for a real life improvement in both countries. Society can't ignore a problem that is bringing chaos, robbery, hate, instability, and inequality.
Thank you.